So what makes a leader, an effective leader at least? Some of the things that really brought to my attention. I chose to interview Logan Carter, which is the manager and director of BMW North Scottsdale Service Department. That's where I used to work. I worked there for 2 years. One of the things that the reason why I chose this gentleman is because before he actually became the service director, service manager of the service drive BMW, he actually was a service advisor. This gentleman, I believe now, is 28 or 29 years old, which is fairly young. He started in my position, and some of the things and qualities that he always explained to me was that when he first started with me, or started in my position when he was 21, he always was on top of things. Always, he had a good time. He loved coming to work, and some of the things is that he would show me, he would explain that he would always get he'd always get with people and kind of show them and lead them in a way where it wasn't just to manage them and tell them what to do and stuff. So then eventually he got promoted to the service drive valet manager, and so then after that he became an advisor about a couple years later. And then so there's other advisors there that also had been there for a few years and stuff like that, and these guys are all 40 years old, 50 years old, and none of them were actually qualified to become a manager. This guy's 28 years old and was the top candidate for that position. So one of the things that really stood out to me when I interviewed him was one of the things is when I asked him, one of the questions I asked him was, what makes a leader, what makes an effective leader? And he told me, he goes, well, one of the biggest things is when someone has success with something, a lot of the time, a lot of people are selfish about it. They won't show anyone how to get successful as well. And in this world, especially here in America, we're grown to show not much how to show someone, but you're told to don't tell anyone your secrets or else you're going to be left behind, and then they're going to take and they're going to run with it. And so what he told me, he goes, that's not true at all, because the more people you help is the more money you're going to eventually get. And it's true. And I also, some of the books that I read was relevant to what he was telling me, was similar to what he was telling me, because some of the things that other books and other mentors that I have, that I read and study, say the exact same thing, or said similar things that Logan told me. And I asked him another question. I asked him what's the biggest difference between a manager and a leader? And he goes, well, a manager leads or manages a group of people and tells them what to do. A leader shows them how to do what their tasks are being handed to them. So for example, one of the biggest things one of the biggest challenges I had as a valet when I first started was how to handle the situation when a key's lost. You don't want to upset the customer because you don't want to seem irresponsible. You don't want the company to seem irresponsible if they lost the key to their vehicle. So what you do, no one really kind of taught me what to do, so I kind of did it on my own until I met Logan as an advisor, and eventually I got really close with him, and I started to talk to him about life as far as business, personal, valet and stuff. And so whenever I had an issue like that, I'd actually go to him directly instead of my manager, and I'd be like, hey, we lost a key, can you help us find it, or where would you look? And he would give me a list of what exactly to do in order to locate that key. What are the possible areas where that key was missed? And so eventually he'd guide me towards where I needed to go, and then I'd always complete the task without getting the customer upset or calming the situation a little bit down, and then he would come out to the customer and explain to him what occurred. And so I mean that's what I think is what is an effective leader as far as my perspective and Logan's perspective. I asked him a few other questions as far as what he thinks he did in order to get into that position compared to what everyone else did that also applied for that position that opened. And something he told me, he said, it's not really what I did, it's more of what I showed. And for that, he said that he showed the company, the managers, that he can accomplish tasks by having a good time and also being professional about it, and also teaching others how to complete those similar tasks. A lot of the times, all the other prospects that were applying for that position, they didn't really they're more managers than leaders. And so I spoke with Mark, which is his boss, which is the actual director of the drive and the shop. And so I asked him, I'm like, hey, so what made Logan different from everyone else? And the first thing he told me, he said, well, the main thing is that he's got ambition, and two, he knows how to handle a group of people and lead them to where they need to get to. Logan was very good at being serious and getting things done on a timely fashion. And that's one of the things that Logan told me. He goes, listen, you can be successful, you can be smart, but if you don't know how to lead a group of people, you're not going to go high as quick nor as far as what you can potentially go. And so that's one of the things that he explained to me, and that's what Mark told me. He said, compared to everyone else, Logan had the experience, Logan had the ambition, and he knew he had the leadership skills that many people don't have. And Logan can go very far up to managing a store if it came down to it, because he has that quality in him that he's not going to sit there and argue about anything. He's just going to show you what it is, and if you want something done his way, he's going to show you how to do it his way until you get it right. And he's not just going to tell you, okay, here, do this task, and then he's going to get upset later because you didn't do it his way. So he'll actually show you exactly what and how to do things. He'll guide you towards the path, and he doesn't take any selfish so if he accomplishes his goals, he doesn't say he did them. He goes out of his way and rewards everyone else in the office that helped him reach those goals that he set for the company and what the company set for him. And so it's more of giving rewards to everyone else instead of himself. And that's what I think is a real leader, is someone that can really do that. But yeah.